I think the whole offensive scheme was just weird as a whole. And that's the main thing I want to focus on. You have all season come into every game and said, we are going to run the ball down your throat. Whether it is with Lamar Jackson, whether it is with Gus Edwards, whether it is with Justice Hill, we are going to run the ball. And I had a stat here. Let me pull it up here. It is the Ravens average 22 carries with their running backs per game. They had 6 in the AFC Championship. Baltimore was 11-1 this season when their running backs touched the football at least 20 times, and they were 3-4 when they had less than 20. They had 6 against Kansas City. And so Gus Edwards, Gus the Bus, it might have been the first play of the game, very early in the game. He comes out, 1 rush, 15 yards. He's like, okay. Gus, the wheels are on the bus. We're going round and round. And then he disappeared. We didn't see him. He finished the game with 3 carries for 20 yards. 15 of those came on 1 play. And it wasn't even like they stopped the run. Ravens just decided that they needed to prove Lamar Jackson could be a pocket passer for some reason, that he could pass the ball to win the game. But why do you do that? Why do you abandon your entire identity as an offense in the biggest playoff game to that point in the season? That makes 0 sense. I mean, it's not like Gus was hurt. It's not like Justice Hill was hurt. You just signed Dalvin Cook.
They didn't want to use him.
You couldn't use Dalvin Cook.
Nope, no Dalvin Cook.
Why did you sign Dalvin Cook if your offensive plan was to make Lamar Jackson a pocket passer?
Oh, moral support, of course.
I was rooting against the Ravens, and it was annoying me.
Well, you were rooting against both, so I don't really know what you were rooting
I was rooting against both, but I was like, if one of these has to win, I'd rather the Chiefs win. But why? Why do you do that, Chus? Why do you completely abandon yourself?
I didn't abandon myself.
No, I just cannot fathom that. It is so, and it's the same. I'm going to say the same thing about when we get to the NFC game about Dan Campbell. Only it's going to be about how he didn't abandon himself. But why? It just, you know that your team is a running team, and you brought up that it was raining, which is even more reason to run the ball. Everything was pointing towards running the ball.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
It prevents Patrick Mahomes from getting the ball. You control the time of possession. Yes, you can have Lamar pass sometimes. That makes sense. Have him pass sometimes. You can't just run the entire time, but run the damn ball.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I mean, the problem is I think they were a little scared at the idea that Kansas City just kept blitzing. Because I don't know if you noticed, but Kansas City would just constantly call blitzes. And if they kept calling blitzes, the run isn't going to work. So you're going to have to try to figure something out, which in this case was relying on Lamar to be a pocket passer and then scramble if the line got too close to him. So, and that's, I think, what they tried to do, but they didn't operate it correctly. I think they should have still tried runs because I still felt like Gus Edwards, Dalvin Cook, any of those guys probably would have been able to make it up the hill a little bit, or up through the middle a little bit more than like nothing at all. I mean, they did well, and I mean, it's just a matter of like maybe they thought that it was going to be more or less like they're going to get blitzed a lot more than they, so they abandoned that identity, which is still stupid because I still think at that point might as well risk it. You didn't see Derrick Henry in the AFC Championship doing that. You didn't see him doing that. They still kept it with it, but New England was just too much. Or not New England. Was it New England? Kansas City?
Kansas City, yeah.
So Kansas City was just too much for them.
But, okay, if they were trying to run the ball and then the blitz was stopping that, that is one thing. That is an adjustment. That is good coaching to move away from that at that point. They just gave up. They just beat themselves. I don't even think the Chiefs beat them. The Ravens beat themselves.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying they did that. The Ravens, it wasn't even, the Ravens probably should have won that game, but the Ravens chose to lose.
I mean, let me make sure I get the score. 17 points. The Ravens defense only allowed 17 points in a playoff game against Patrick Mahomes. That is phenomenal performance by the defense.
Because that defense was stellar. Kyle Hamilton was all over that game. And it just wasn't enough to get that freaking thing done. And I felt bad because Kyle Hamilton, I love that guy. I think he was a great pick coming out of that 2022 draft. Because Notre Dame, strong safety, I felt like he was going to be great. And he showed a great performance. And I was really sad for him because I kind of wanted him to go to Super Bowl and win a ring. But that's just me.